Welcome to the WWE Podcast for this weekend review on this Sunday, October 19th, 2025. Hope everybody had a great weekend as we get closer and closer to Halloween, which is really the next big holiday. I mean, we've got more important ones coming up, I think. Thanksgiving, Christmas. Of course, I don't know why this is popping into my mind, but the Stranger Things Season 5 is going to ruin all of our holidays. If you haven't seen the series, I mean, what are you doing? But they are releasing their series on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then New Year's. So they are officially trying to tear apart the nuclear family by nobody talking and everybody watching television. That's what's going to happen. I mean, that's just a direct attack on the family. So there's just no other way to put it. But that's coming up in about a month and change from the first set of season 5 of Stranger Things. Of course, that's not what this show is about. It's about pro wrestling, and there's a lot to talk about tonight, and I will be focusing heavily on the Cody Rhodes potential heel turn that we might have seen, or the start of one, the precipice of one that appeared on SmackDown. The first time you could really say, that's weird. And I think it was by design. It could be just sending out a red herring. It could be that they are trying to just create interest in the Cody Rhodes character that has been kind of put to the side for a while. There hasn't been a whole lot of progression in his character. There hasn't been a whole lot of movement. It's been kind of the same Cody Rhodes we've seen since WrestleMania 38 against Seth Rollins. But we'll get to that. Adam Pearce did say on X earlier today that he's going to be providing an update for Seth Rollins. From what we understand, if you read the reports online, a lot of it does point to a 6-month recovery time for Seth Rollins' shoulder injury. Take that with a grain of salt, but if that is at face value, you're looking right at WrestleMania. I mean, just at WrestleMania, because 6 months from now is WrestleMania. 6 months from now is mid-April. So that means that Seth is going to have, if this is a correct timeline, everything go right, no setbacks, and maybe even a little ahead of schedule, because he's going to have to build up a rivalry to come back to, or he could be a mystery return opponent or something. But certainly I think the Royal Rumble is out. He may be looking at a best case scenario Elimination Chamber in February kind of return. But I think if 6 months turns out to be right, it could just time out for WrestleMania 42 in Vegas this year. So we'll see if that pans out. We'll get more information tomorrow night from Adam Pearce, and we'll kind of go from there. But that means in all likelihood the World Championship is being vacated. Has to be. You can't have a world champion absent for 6 months. So that means that you put some guys at the forefront. Jey Uso, CM Punk is the number one contender. You have LA Knight kind of floating in there. You have, of course, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, who are newly doubled down on their heel character. You have Seth, as I said, out, which means when he comes back, he's a big baby face, you would think, upon his return. A lot of moving parts here, and I think that Adam Pearce is going to address that tomorrow night and what they're going to do, that the World Heavyweight Championship, I mean, it has to be vacated, as I said. You would think that means that there's going to be a tournament of sorts, or that we'll find out who CM Punk's going to be facing for the vacant World Championship at Saturday night's main event. We'll probably figure that out tomorrow night. I mean, there's not a lot of time left between now and November 1st. So CM Punk has to have an opponent. You can't just anoint him champion. So certainly a tough time for Seth, who was on a damn roll. And I feel like this happened before for Seth Rollins. If you look back in history, remember when he was with AOP and he newly turned heel and he was in the back of a van, and it was, I think, a great pairing right before or during the pandemic. It was an awesome pairing before the Messiah gimmick. And then Seth Rollins ends up getting hurt. One of the AOP members ends up getting hurt. Seth's injury here, this is a legit one. I don't think there's any need to think this is a work. But here we are, and we'll get more information tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. But that's the lowdown right now. But join us on Patreon, guys. If you want to go to patreon.com/WWE Podcasts, hey, I can't stop you, and I'll encourage you to go there, because things are a little bit restructured here. We have a brand new bottom base tier. It's the jobber tier that has the same great benefits as before. And then it goes up in tier from there, but we've condensed the tiers. So the top tier no longer exists. And it's pretty, I hope, more streamlined. We're going to continue to fine tune that as we move on and move forward here in time. So head on over to Patreon and get yourself an ad-free experience, patreon.com/WWE podcast. Now, I mentioned Seth's injury, the Cody Rhodes potential turn, but a lot of other stuff happened on SmackDown too, and we're going to go through with it here on the WWE podcast. I can't also encourage you enough to go to listen to Amanda's review that she did with the SmackDown and did a great job. I want to start here right at the top of SmackDown because why not? So Cody Rhodes does come out and he acknowledged that Seth beat him and split him to the bone to do so. He said, after everything he's been through with Seth, he's not sure they need to get in the ring together again, but that's not how it works around here. Rhodes said Seth has his own problems to take care of, and he would take care of SmackDown problems. Essentially saying, yeah, I lost, but I'm not going to go try to, take back that victory. I'm not going to try to beat Seth again. And simply for the fact that, I mean, it's a sign that we're not going to be crossing roads. Oh, there you go. Pun intended. For quite some time, not only because our storylines are going separately because Crown Jewel matches really mean nothing, but also because Seth's injured for quite some time. I mean, that was his way of saying, guys, we're splitting for now. This is a crossroads of sorts. So he then talked about his new challengers and asked the crowd if it should be Drew McIntyre or someone they were familiar with in Jacob Fatu. Crowds cheered for that. And then Rhodes said that regardless of who wins, the road to the WWE Championship leads through San Jose tonight. That's when backstage, Solo and his family attacked Rey Fenix backstage as he was in the process of doing a photo shoot. They wanted him to be done and he refused. And then the family beat him up, walked away when officials intervened. And then back in the arena, Charlotte made her entrance. So before we move on here to the Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss matchup defending their championships, notice as we talk more in depth about the Cody Rhodes potential turn, Cody Rhodes' attire, black. When is the last time Cody Rhodes wore nearly all black? I can't, I mean, he's not, I think he's doing this on purpose, foreshadowing his potential turn. Again, if it's going to happen, this is laying the groundwork for it, because heels, bad guys in movies, entertainment, TV shows, you go down the list, they typically wear dark colors, more specifically black, to indicate that they are the bad guy or about to be the bad guy. So if you're looking for evidence that Cody Rhodes is going to turn or is in the process of turning, there's Exhibit A. There's more to come. Okay. So we have Charlotte and Alexa taking on Zarya and Sol Ruca for the women's tag team championships. And the match, it went 11 minutes and 24 seconds with Charlotte and Alexa predictably retaining the women's tag team championships. The finish was interesting though, as we had Blake Monroe, who was in the crowd, distract and divert Ruka's attention. That allowed Charlotte to attack with a chop block, and then she pulled Ruka back into the ring, applied the figure eight, and Ruka tapped out. So Charlotte and Alexa do retain in a good match. And I'm really still enjoying this kind of fun little vacation that it feels like Alexa and Charlotte are on. And I don't mean that in the way that they're taking a detour from their careers per se, but more of just, it's a refresh for both of them at the best time. They're both seemingly looking like they're having fun. They're not taking things too seriously, yet they're champions. So, there is a little bit of weight that the WWE is putting on them, despite the fact that we all know the WWE women's tag team belts have been cursed. it's nice to see the little needle that they've threaded with these two women that have great on-air chemistry. And it seems like they're enjoying one another's chemistry off air too. Alexa and Charlotte are constantly posting pictures of one another and their the most recent is Halloween costume. And I mean, they look like they're just living it up. And it's nice to see. I'm sure that whenever you get along backstage, it's nice to see that that doesn't always translate on television, but in this case it is. So that's nice to see. All right. So after the match, Cody ran into Jacob Fatu backstage. Fatu said when he was done dog walking Drew all over the Bay Area, he would find out that Jacob Fatu was all gas and no brakes, which of course is seemingly one of the few things they're allowing him to say. I mean, they're really trying to get that over. But it was, again, this is something that could lead to more evidence that Cody's turning, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. We all know what happened with Jacob, and this could lead to that. So Aleister Black said that he'd been setting this in motion for months, that he's never felt more accomplished than when he reunited with his wife. This is a pre-taped promo. He said that he's not a fan of putting all his cards on the table, but he would say that they are necessary for balance. Vega said they are not the infection, but the mirror of the disease. That was cool. And then we got a video package of the MFTs attacking Sami Zayn during his match with Shinsuke. So can we get this once a week? I mean, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, I know that they're married and that is just, that's an added bonus that they get to work together on television. That doesn't always happen. And we saw Becky and Seth early in their relationship just not work at all on TV. It was cringeworthy. These two, Zelina and Aleister Black, they're peanut butter and jelly. They work really well. Their pre-taped promos have been doing, I mean, I love this. An emailer messaged last week and was talking about how they should just continue to let Black talk on the mic. And I'm fine with that as well. If they want to get him in a live arena with a live mic and not do the pre-tape stuff, there's more success in that. But if you find a formula that works, like Black backstage doing these pre-taped promos that he's excellent at, then maybe you stick with that too, because being great in a pre-taped, pre-produced segment doesn't mean it's always going to translate that well over to a live segment where you don't know how many takes they're doing. You know, I mean, how many flubs, how many stutters, how many rewrites, or however many changes they want to make. They can do that on the fly. When it's live, of course you can't. But my point is, though, that I'm really enjoying Zelina and Aleister Black. I mean, it's amazing what can happen, how you feel differently about a character or characters when they get to speak. And Aleister Black has a very magnetic, much like his wife Zelina. They're in the same ballpark here when it comes to the way that they speak and why we pay attention. They've just got a magnetic personality. And I think they work very well together. And I'm excited to see where this goes for both of these stars. Stars in their own right, but when they combine their powers, I mean, it's like they're putting the Megazord together. It's morphin time, and now they're calling on their Zords. All right, there's a Power Rangers reference to those that were 90s babies. Okay, or 80s babies living in the 90s. However, I'm going off the rails today, guys. Let's talk about Sami Zayn here. He approached Nick Aldis backstage and questioned why he didn't have a U.S. title match tonight. And Aldis said Nakamura deserved a rematch, and he was concerned about what the MFTs did to both of them last week. Zayn said that the title open challenge meant something to him, the locker room, the fans, and he was going to go out there and defend the title. Aldis turned to The Miz and asked him if he needed anything, and The Miz smirked and said he was good. And so there. I mean, Zayn continuing to push the open challenge, which is a fun concept. As we all know, John Cena is the first to do it, but Sami Zayn continuing that tradition and allowing new stars to get an opportunity. There's nothing bad that can come from that, really. Outside of the fact that you're giving title matches constantly away for free all the time, and you think about the logic of how does this even work? I mean, is it just whoever gets to push their music first on the soundboard? Like, how is it done that who decides how the person is chosen backstage. I mean, you have to take your brain away and just realize that it's, of course, pre-produced, and it's obviously, you can't think too logically with this kind of stuff. But I enjoy the concept overall. The positives for me on the Open Challenge side of things for the U.S. title outweigh the negatives of illogical steps that you have to go through, versus the positive side of, hey, it's got more guys, more exposures. It gives you a title match every week, and it gives more exposure to the U.S. title itself, which can't hurt anything. All right. So the Miz comes out, or I'm sorry, Sami Zayn comes out for the U.S. title Open Challenge. The Miz does appear, and he got on the microphone and said he was sick of the Open Challenges. He was then quickly attacked by Carmelo Hayes. He attacked him from behind. That's a very key point there. And he ran the Miz off the stage. Dragunov then appeared and made his way to the ring for the Open Challenge. And he was wearing a heavy knee brace. So we got Dragunov versus Sami Zayn for the United States Championship. And before I get to this actual match, which was just excellent, it does lend you to believe, like, where are they going with Carmelo Hayes? I mean, I was confident that they kind of found a footing for him, because it felt like in the beginning of his career, they didn't know whether to make him, what to make of him, fish or foul. And I thought, we're going to go on the way of the babyface because of the way that the interactions with the Miz have been going. And the Miz is just a consummate heel, and it's a better role for him. But how can you have your good guy attacking from behind the bad guy on national television? It didn't get a lot of cheers from the crowd. I mean, the crowd was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, we don't like the Miz, but really, you're going to attack him from behind like a coward? That's a cowardice thing to do. As a babyface, I mean, it was a little bit kind of head scratching. So maybe it was just a misstep, an oversight. I don't know why he couldn't have just at least turned the Miz around and then hit him in the face instead of blatantly just attacking blindly from behind. I mean, babyfaces do that. They'll come out, but they'll turn the guy around and then punch him in the face. That's a little bit more acceptable, I think, but maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. I certainly have done that in the past. But this matchup here, Dragunov versus Sami Zayn, I mean, I don't know what more I can say about it. That probably hasn't already been said. The match went 19 minutes in a outcome that I don't think a lot of us thought was going to happen. At least my money would have been on Sami Zayn retaining, because this Open Challenge has been gaining some steam. It's been good for really everybody involved. You're thinking, okay, it's just another fun title defense. Sami Zayn will be victorious, and then we'll get somebody else next week. And it's also a nice thing for the bookers, for the writing team or creative. However, I mean, it's all the same thing. It all means the same thing. It's just been relabeled, throughout the years. It's been a nice, soft, easy landing spot where you're like, hey, Sami Zayn, we know what kind of worker he is. Top tier, A+. Why can't we have him every week for the foreseeable future in a match? It's going to eat up 15 to 20 minutes with a potential promo in there as well. That's less TV we have to worry about writing. Put him in a match with X wrestler. I mean, from just a selfish creative standpoint, if I'm WWE, I'm like, oh man, there goes 20 easy minutes every week. But Dragunov wins. Now the finish was, let's see, where do I want to start here? Zayn landing a blue thunder bomb that got a nice near fall. Zayn backed into a corner for a haluva kick, but Solo Sikoa appeared on stage. That's when Sami got distracted. He was saying, what are you doing? Dragunov charged him, but Sami caught him with an exploder suplex. He then went for the haluva kick, but he was intercepted with the Torpedo Moscow, and he then landed an H-bomb and got the victory. So Dragunov is your new United States champion. After the match, Dragunov celebrated briefly. Sami offered a handshake, but before he could accept, both men were attacked by the MFTs. Rey Fenix ran down to get his revenge from earlier, but he got his ass whooped for his trouble. And then Solo got on the mic and asked if everyone forgot. He said the MFTs run SmackDown and they're going to get back everything that his family lost, and he'll make his family tree champions again. That's when the Wyatt Six come out, the lights go out, and a brief video appeared on the Titantron and said, "Seek and you shall find." And boy, didn't Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, really look like Bray on the Titantron. I mean, I know that there's a lot of resemblance, but from a distance, it was indistinguishable. For just a few frames, I'm like, whoa. I mean, he's got the beard going on. I mean, everything. It's such a shame Bray is gone. But, obviously he lives on through Bo and his group here and obviously video and everything else. But man, that took me back for a moment. So anyway, they all appear, and they appeared on the apron and got in the ring to confront the MFTs, and then Solo bailed and left the ring. But an absolutely excellent match from Dragunov and Sammy. One that I hope we get to see again, because Sammy does have a claim to a rematch. You would think that WWE sometimes brings that stipulation back, that automatic knee-jerk reaction of champion gets a rematch, champion gets a rematch. And years ago, they try to get rid of it, and sometimes it just makes its way back, and I'm sure it will. How can it not, given the chemistry and the ability of these two men? It's an instant great match. I don't know if it's possible these two to have a bad match. I mean, below a 3-star match. I don't know if below 3 is bad, but you get my point. So, all right. So we all know that move WWE made off of cable television onto Netflix for Monday Night Raw, and now to ESPN for PLEs. Well, you can unlock more content without having to pay for multiple subscriptions. How, you may ask? Well, remember that little piece of advice Stephanie McMahon inadvertently gave to the WWE fans? It's called a VPN. If you're not sure what that is, it's a virtual private network. What will this do for you? Well, it can help you unlock access to the content library of a different region. For example, some United States-based fans use a VPN to access the more comprehensive library that's on the Netflix UK to avoid paying the multiple services, like I said, for Peacock and ESPN. So what service specifically we're talking about here? That's Surfshark, today's sponsor of this episode, Surfshark VPN. So the VPN, the virtual private network, means you can change your virtual location with just a few clicks. It masks your true IP address. It makes you appear that you're anywhere in the world. And for example, you can set it to Canada and boom, you unlock the Canadian Netflix library, which includes all of that awesome WWE programming, commercial free, I might add. And while you're there, you can also check out other shows exclusive to Canadian Netflix. So kind of a win-win. And of course, all of the classic benefits of a VPN that are there at your disposal too, meaning enhanced security while surfing the web, data privacy, fewer pop-ups, and even some of Surfshark's specific services, such as Surfshark Alert and Surfshark Antivirus. Even better, you guys can try Surfshark risk-free thanks to their 30-day money-back guarantee. And here's the best deal. Go to surfshark.com/WWE pod and you'll get 4 months extra when you sign up for a 2-year plan and enter the code WWE pod. Again, that's surfshark.com/WWE pod to get an extra 4 months on a 2-year plan. No need to write it down. My link and code are in the show description. And by using my code, of course, you do help support this podcast. A huge thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring today's episode. Alrighty. So let's continue here after just, again, an excellent match between Sami Zayn and Dragunov. Some great near falls. Oh, by the way, some of the spots, Michinoku driver, there was a DDT that was a believable near fall. Just excellent. Excellent. I mean, one of those matches that kind of goes in, yeah, it's cold. It's for the U.S. title. They don't have a whole lot of history, but it brought you in, man. I love those kinds of matches that suddenly you didn't give a damn. And 15 minutes later, you couldn't be more invested. That's nothing but a testament to the men in the ring. It's zero credit to the creative other than for them setting up this match. You can set up the match all you want on paper that, fans might get into this, but the execution is 99% of it. And credit goes, the vast, vast, vast majority of the credit goes to the men in the ring. So both Sammy and Dragunov, hats off to to these men. Those matches are not always easy to do, to bring a fan base into a cold match. So Tiffany then appeared backstage, Tiffany Stratton, and said one loss wouldn't derail her career. Kiana James walked up and said Tiffany's loss is why she's advertised her services to Stephanie Vaquer and not to her. Tiffany said she represents people because she doesn't have it. Kiana James said that she can get the job done in the ring, and Stratton said she should prove it next week. And then she accepted. Tiffany Stratton, I'll just say this. I see what everyone sees with her in the ring. I get it. I agree. She is and continues to be the future of the women's division. I don't think she's a flash in the pan champion. I think there's still better days ahead for Tiffany. She's young. She's got that on-screen presence. But I will say the one side of her that is still irking me is her voice. And I don't know what she can really do about that. As a heel, I think it's great because she's got that little like whiny kind of, I don't know, irritating voice. And maybe it's also the way, I think it's mostly the way that she delivers it in kind of this ditzy promo voice way. Like she goes into promo mode and you can hear the switch flip or see it flip, really both. And she gets in this kind of annoying little like, I don't know how to put this without cussing. The B word. I'm not trying to be a child here, but it's a PG show. She gets in that B mode, like the itchy with a B mode. And it's kind of this off-putting presence. When she starts getting into that promo mode in her brain, I don't know if she knows she's doing it, but as a babyface, I wouldn't think she's either aware of it, no one's aware of it or cares. But, well, what do I know? I'm one fan here. She just has this off-putting way of delivering her promos that it's just so like campy, or I don't know what the word is. So anyway, that's the one thing I'd say that she should work on. But other than that, I mean, she is the future of the women's division. Her in-ring ability, presence, she carries herself like a champion. It's just her promos that kill me. She had the one memorable one with Charlotte Flair where they went off the rails and she was actually scolded for it because she started talking about, Charlotte's personal life and how many, essentially nailing her for how many times she's been divorced. And then Charlotte hit back with Kaiser's in my DMs, which can we do an investigative, an investigation into this? Can somebody go into Kaiser's? Did anyone even look at Kaiser's DMs? Did Tiffany take Kaiser's phone and be like, hey, can I see your phone, babe? And go through it. I mean, there has to be an investigation into this. I mean, Charlotte would not make that claim without there being some truth to that because it's easily verifiable, right? So how did everyone just forget that? I didn't. I mean, I think there needs to be some questioning there. I mean, if I don't know if I would do this. I say I would, but that's easily said, but not actually executed. If I had Tiffany on my show, I'd be like, hey, remember that promo you and Charlotte did that Vince scolded you, or not Vince, Triple H scolded you for, and you guys went a little off the rails, off script. Hey, was there any truth to Charlotte's claim that Kaiser's in, in her DMs? I'd love to know the answer. I'm sure she'd outright deny it because she looked like a fool for staying with him. But I don't know, making a mountain out of a molehill again, perhaps. But there was just never any follow-up to that. Okay, moving on to things that actually happened on the show. Angel and Humberto Los Garza took on Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin and the Motor City Machine Guns. Another really fun tag team match, 9 minutes and 23 seconds with the Motor City Machine Guns beating Los Garza. And the finish was the Machine Guns getting sent to the floor. Berto landed a dive onto both of them. Things picked up quick as Shelley sent Berto to the floor. And then after a quick sequence, the Machine Guns landed Skull and Bones and got the victory when Shelley pinned Angel. So good match here. Potentially tag team championship implications if you want to go that far. Backstage, Nathan Frazier and Axiom continue to argue when to make their run for the tag titles. DIY walked up and said they had spent the last few months biding their time while the Street Profits proved that who they thought they are, and the Wyatts treat every week like it's Halloween. DIY made fun of Axiom's mask, and he told them they can meet in the ring. All right. So as I said, some discussion here about tag team championships and opportunities and Street Profits. So it's good. I mean, granted, this is a small segment for a championship that does have a long lineage in the WWE tag team titles, but it's something. It's it's kind of thrown in and tucked away in the middle of the show here, but you got to take what you can get with WWE when it comes to tag team championships, men or women. So Jacob Fatu's music hits, and he doesn't come out because the scene cut to backstage where he was found. Yeah, this is a new one I've never seen this in all my years of wrestling, with some teeth and blood on the floor next to him and some equipment tipped over on him. So Jacob Fatu does not come out, and it's a whodunit. Now, I know that the logic is, it's Drew. How can it not be Drew? It's not Drew's style, number one, even as a heel. Not his style. But is it Cody's? Could Cody Rhodes have something to say about this? Was Cody the one to attack Jacob? It's something to think about. I mean, I think it's whodunit isn't a bad thing to do, especially when you take some time off, months or years between the whodunits. Something to think about. Put that in the back of your mind. Could Cody have been the assailant? So we then have Fatu ask if he saw anything that happened backstage. Drew made his entrance in the crowd, and Drew then grabbed the microphone and addressed the crowd. He said, "It appears your boy, quote, bleeding gums Fatu is all gas and no brakes." He demanded the referee raise his hand as the new number one contender. Nick Aldis walked out and said if he found he had anything to do with it, but McIntyre interrupted him and said it wasn't him. McIntyre begged Aldis to say he wasn't working for Corporate Cody. That's a good one. Yeah, that was a great line. Corporate Cody couldn't be more true from just a pro wrestling sense and a real life walking marketing billboard for the company than Cody Rhodes. Corporate Cody works better than any nickname he's been given. Better than, saying he's a politician, which he still is. But his constant use of suits, the way he speaks, the way he walks, up until this week, Corporate Cody is absolutely to a T the perfect nickname for him. Because it's true. And what is Drew McIntyre's entire heel persona based around? Ironically enough, truth. He comes out and speaks the truth, which is what is so infuriating about him if you're a babyface or you just don't like him because he speaks the truth. That's what makes him, I think, partially hated, is the fact that he just comes out and he says things that are true that are about babyfaces that he doesn't like. And in general, I think society hates truth. Truth is villainized today, although I won't go into that too much. This is a wrestling show, but it does bleed into real life. So Corporate Cody is, I think, on the suspect list of attacking Jacob Fatu. So let me know what you guys think about that. I think it's very possible. Also, the teeth. When's the last time you saw teeth on the floor being used in any capacity? Now, I do wonder how they're going to get away with this next week, because if Jacob Fatu gets his teeth knocked out, I mean, there was like 4 of them on the floor. He has silver teeth and gold teeth. I mean, I don't know if they are real or I'm not sure, but I know the dentistry has come a long way and you can get implants and all this stuff. But in a week, if we see him and there's no change in his teeth, or maybe they just cover it, I don't know. That's kind of just a massive misstep by the company. I mean, I hope that they look at that detail and go, okay, 4 teeth got knocked out, whatever it was. There has to be some kind of visual difference next week. Or they just have them off the show. I'm not sure. There are things that dentists can do to put in temporary implants or, crown, whatever, Okay. So Rhodes appeared and said they weren't doing this. He said these fans don't want to hear him talk. They want a number one contenders match, and he said he demanded to fight him on the spot. So again, Cody Rhodes here ends up facing Drew McIntyre, okay, instead of Jacob Fatu. So that's interesting. He took the opportunity from Cody or from Jacob, but Cody obviously can't be a number one contender for his own championship. So there's something screwy going on here. So Drew versus Cody was the main event in a match that was very quick by Cody and Drew standards. 5 minutes and 56 seconds. And the finish, kind of Exhibit C. If Exhibit A is his black attire, Exhibit B is the suspect attack on Jacob Fatu backstage, and Exhibit C is the fact that Cody Rhodes he lost this match by DQ because he is the one that caused the disqualification after Cody hit Drew with the world title. That is very suspect and goes against what Cody has done his entire WWE return career. When is the last time, or has it ever happened? I don't think so. Somebody can AI this, chat GPT, whatever. Has Cody Rhodes, since he returned at WrestleMania 38, has he ever lost a match by DQ because he is the one that caused the DQ purposefully? I don't think so. So this is a shift in character. It could be an off night. Again, perhaps WWE is testing the waters. They're going to do nothing with this, just trying to get us talking about Cody again. Maybe that's the whole goal. And they're not going to do anything. There's not actually a heel turn that is that's in the works. Maybe there is no heel turn. Maybe this is just, again, trying to drum up some interest in what Cody's doing again, because he's been very formulaic for a long, long time. I mean, I would argue for the better part of 12 to 18 months, Cody Rhodes has been very formulaic. You know what you're going to get, Mr. Suit and Tie, cutting good promos, no doubt. He cuts good promos, but just very intentional, and he's very put together, and all the rest. You know what you're going to get. He's not a very exciting character, even if you're a Cody Rhodes fan. You don't get excited by what he's going to do. You just don't. You just know what you're going to get. That's not a bad thing, but there's not a lot of excitement, and hasn't been a lot of excitement around the Cody Rhodes character for quite a while. I would argue since WrestleMania 40. So, anyway, this is, if it's a heel turn, if it is truly the start of a heel turn, this is very logical. I just hope it's not one of those, they think we're turning Cody, we're going to outsmart them by being smarter. Well, I don't know. If any of their agendas are to simply swerve us for the simple purpose of, and the only sole purpose of swerving the fans, you're not doing pro wrestling any service. You're writing for the wrong reasons, right? I mean, you should be worried about making the best stories possible. If I'm in the company, sure, getting away from the noise online is nearly impossible. And they can say that they don't pay attention to it, they don't listen to it. Sure they do. Sure they do. They listen to it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the social media accounts they do. You don't think that there's some kind of report or summarization done by their teams to be brought back to Triple H and management about what the fans are generally saying online, picking out and cherry picking a few of the comments on X or on Twitter or on Instagram, wherever? Of course they do. They'd be foolish not to. So, I mean, they say they don't, so they don't empower fans to complain more, but they do. But if they're writing to simply try to, if this is ever a motivation, to try to mitigate fan complaints, well, you're never going to be able to satisfy everybody, right? So you're always having complaints. No matter what you do, it's always going to be somebody complaining. You should be worried about just creating the best damn stories possible with the best characters possible. If your motivation is ever just to swerve fans on some kind of clapback revenge tour, it's going to blow up in your face, because then you're doing things for the wrong reasons. You have the wrong intentions. So we'll see. Again, I'm making maybe nothing out of this. This could certainly just be a bunch of nothing. But when you look at those three big pieces of evidence on SmackDown, the mystery attack on Jacob, the attire for Cody being black for the first time maybe the first time ever in WWE since his return, causing an intentional disqualification. You look at those three things, those are very out of character for Cody. Very out of character. We don't know who attacked Jacob. We don't know for sure. It's been kind of pointing the fingers at Drew. I understand that, but Cody is in the conversation for sure. So, okay. That is the wrap up on SmackDown. And I'm going to very quickly jump over to the Monday Night Raw review. I went over some of it already. We all know what happened at the end, the crazy turn by Braun Breaker to kind of write Seth off of television for 6 months. And now you have Braun and Paul, who are now going to be either just a tag team with Paul, or they're going to bring in a new talent to replace Seth. That could very well be the case, like what happened with the very quick breakup of the Judgment Day that Edge brought together. By the way, I'm going to mention Edge at the end. He was recently asked about John Cena. I'll talk about that in a minute. But here's a very quick recap of Monday Night Raw match-wise. Mysterio and Penta for the Intercontinental title. We had Dominic beat Penta in 15 and a half minutes. By the way, Dom is facing Rusev for the Intercontinental title this next or tomorrow night on Raw. So look out for another Eddie finish, I hope. Really looking forward to that. We then had Rhea Ripley versus Kairi Sane, with Ripley beating Kairi in nearly 16 minutes. Long match, great match. And by the way, Rhea did break her nose, if you didn't see. So wishing recovery to Rhea. And we then had Bronson Reed versus Jimmy Uso, where Bronson Reed beats Jimmy in 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Bayley and Lyra take on Raquel and Roxanne Perez in a tag team match, with Bayley and Lyra beating Raquel and Roxanne in 11 minutes. And then we had CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight in a triple threat number one contenders match for the World Heavyweight Championship. The winner, CM Punk. CM Punk wins after hitting a GTS. He gets the victory, and then we all know what happened at the end there. So the news here about Edge, I want to talk about that quickly. There was a recent interview done. I forget what podcast or news platform he was on. He essentially said, when he was asked about the John Cena potential, was there any possibility? He didn't say no. He simply said, I don't know if that kind of came and went when I was there. We didn't think that even when John and Edge were both employed by the company a few years ago before Edge went to AEW, he said that he felt, we wouldn't want to be able to not live up to the expectations that fans had on that. But, it's kind of cool that the fans still talk about it. Essentially saying that, I'm not going to answer the question, but I'm also going to just remind you of our past. And that was the kind of summation of that. And what else is he going to say? This gives me actually encouragement that Edge could be John Cena's final opponent in Washington, D.C. on December 13th for his final match. And it better be a big opponent. Let me tell you now, because the amount of tickets that are being sold for this event, the prices that are being paid for this event, they better deliver a big opponent. It cannot be John Cena versus The Miz, like some people have put forward, which is ridiculous. The Miz would be a preposterously bad opponent. Bad. For his final match, give me a break. I know some people have floated The Rock out there. I don't even want John Cena versus The Rock. If I got it, I'd watch it because duh. I mean, like, too big now. Yeah, I'd watch it. I'm not going to pretend I'd sit here. I wouldn't watch it out of principle. No, I'd watch it. Of course I would. Anybody saying there wouldn't, you're lying. Despite all the criticisms and really sour feelings that I have towards Dwayne Johnson, the man, of not appearing at WrestleMania 41 and all the things he said following up that, which I truly believe and I'll triple down on. I'm not taking any of it back. That doesn't mean I wouldn't watch a John Cena Rock matchup. Of course. But he's already faced Randy Orton. We've gone down that road. He faced AJ Styles. But the man that he has not faced, that he's had one of the biggest, most intense, memorable rivalries of all time with, is Edge. You have to bring back Edge. How can you not? If you think you know me, the place is going to explode, much like they did it in Royal Rumble 2020. Absolutely explode. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not sitting here going, oh, well, it's for sure. I know no, I don't. But he is the logical guy that you get. for a match of that magnitude. And I understand that the match quality may not be what it was in 2010, but our expectations for John Cena matches, especially for his last one, are not no one's expecting a 5-star classic. I'm not. This match is not about the quality of the match. You don't get to say that too often. It's not about the quality of the match. It's not about who wins or loses. It has nothing to do with any of that. It is simply about saying goodbye to John Cena. It's going to be an emotional night, an emotional match. It cannot be headlined by The Miz versus John Cena. I don't even want to see, again, Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. I don't know. Some people have even said that. Who said that? There was a massive podcaster, a massive influencer. Was it Santi Zap or whoever? He's saying he thinks it could be Brock. That'd be a horrible choice. We just saw it, and there's no interest in that. I didn't even have any interest in it when Brock first came back. I'm like, I don't need to see it. You know, if it's Brock, yeah, again, I'll watch. But the only logical choice is Adam Copeland. There's no one else left that would make a lick of logic here. So it's got to be Adam Copeland, I hope. If it's not, I am curious to hear what you guys think could be the alternate outside of Edge. But the match, if it's going to main event the show as it should on Saturday night's main event, John Cena's final match of all time on December 13th. I think that's the tape. You got to have it against a big name, against a very memorable opponent in Edge. In a perfect world, I mean, you could even argue for Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's, Kurt Angle is close to being in assisted living. I mean, when you look at him, because of his muscle deterioration and everything else he's got a ton of medical issues. I'm just saying in fantasy land, Kurt Angle would of course be the logical choice, maybe even over Edge, simply because of the poetic finish that would be for John, starting and ending with John Cena versus Kurt Angle. In 2002 and then in 2025, it would be absolutely insanely just heartwarming, but we're not getting Kurt Angle versus John Cena. Now, that doesn't mean that Kurt Angle can actually appear for John Cena's final match in the audience or something like that, or even come out to say congratulations. I'm sure they'll have a big celebration at the end. You'll see some big names, and seeing Kurt Angle there would be very cool. Seeing Kurt Angle there be a part of that final finish to make things come full circle for John, coming out as Mr. Ruthless Aggression, ending with Kurt Angle handshake. Again, no physicality. It's just purely a heartwarming goodbye moment for John after, hopefully, him and Edge have a serviceable 15 to 20 minute match. Then hell yeah. I think that's how you go out. You go out, and there's only one time to do this. We'll never see John Cena after this. You pull out all the damn stops. You write the zeros on the check. You do whatever you got to do. This is the end of John Cena. That's it. You'll never see John Cena compete in the ring again. I think you'll see him in the ring again. Despite what he says, I think you'll see him in the ring for a special WrestleMania appearance, maybe even deliver an AA, but no more matches. I believe him when he says no more matches, but I don't believe him if he says that he'll never appear on WWE television again, or I don't know if he's gone that far, but if he says that his in-ring days are over, I think he means by matches. I don't think he'd be opposed to like an AA or a cool promo to open WrestleMania 45 or 46 or something like that, and give somebody an AA, much like John Cena or The Rock used to do, and Austin kind of occasionally does here and there, that kind of thing. So, but when it comes to the final time we ever see John Cena in a match, you bring out all the damn stops. So, alrighty, that'll do it for me, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here on the WWE podcast. I do appreciate it as we continue on here in the October and get closer to another PLE in just under 2 weeks. A lot coming as we get closer and closer to then Rumble season, not too far away, another month and a half. We're already talking Rumble and kind of prognosticating of who could win and the front runners and all that kind of stuff. We could already start thinking about it pretty soon. But first things first, Saturday night's main event. And then we've got Survivor Series, and then saying goodbye to John Cena in December. So pretty cool time to be a fan. And I also would also say that it's a good time to become a fan on Patreon by going ad free at patreon.com/WWE podcast. good time to go there because right now we have a deal going on where you could get a couple months for free by joining us on an annual basis. So check it out. You can also, give a 7-day free trial as well. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. I'll be back on Tuesday evening with your Monday Night Raw review. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.